Wim di Kii Audio è venuto a trovarci a Pandino e ci siamo fatti raccontare qual è la filosofia progettuale dietro ai loro diffusori, quali sono le problematiche classiche di un diffusore tradizionale e come Bruno Putzeys, il cofondatore e progettista, le ha risolte.
So hello everyone, welcome to Audio Graffiti. I'm Wim, one of the co-founders of Kii Audio, and explaining all about our systems, why they are so unique. Let me start at the little beginning of conventional speaker design. Conventional speakers in your living room might sound the best. Usually you found out at a position in the room where you think there's same amount of bass, same amount of mid-range and high frequencies, but at that position usually the bass response is the worst, the impulse response. That impulse response usually is generated by two divided surfaces. Usually that is the direct surface, basically the direct bass coming from the speaker going to the listening position, and the reflected wavefront against the back wall also towards the listening position, usually traveling 12 milliseconds later, depending on the distance of the wall. Average 12 milliseconds. So if you have a delay of the direct sound wave and you have a delay between that indirect sound wave, that causes a muddy, low impact bass. But that's something that is given to that position of the speaker. If you would create a perfect impulse response against the wall, direct and indirect sound wave traveling at exactly the same time, you would have a perfect bass, but your bass below 500 Hertz would be at least 6 decibels more, your stereo image is gone, and it's way too muddy and it's exaggerated bass. So you don't want that, you want it over here. But there's basically that nastiness in a conventional system. On this position also, usually your wife or girlfriend or partner hates it because it's too far in the room. So there's conflicts all over the place. Our designer says, Bruno says that if you want to create the most correct reproduction of sound, it has to be based on 3 principles. First, the least interference of the room. Second, the flat frequency response. The third one is the time coherence of the system. Namely, that all frequencies will leave the cabinet at exactly the same time. Those 3 things incorporated, you simply cannot achieve usually in passive speaker design. Frequency response, if you're lucky, is within plus minus 3 dB. Time coherence, no, maybe on axis, but off axis, no, not possible. And the interference of the room is at the most, so to say. With our Kii systems, Kii 3, BXTs and Kii 7, they are designed through the so-called principle of controlled directivity. Controlled directivity means that we are able to send all frequencies to the front, so there is no hindrance from your flexion of the back wall, and the signals are time coherent, all frequencies are leaving the cabinet at exactly the same time, and the frequency response is flat within half a dB. So this is the most correct reproduction of sound. If you don't like correct and you want something more warm or more high frequencies, mid frequencies, whatever, in different balances, you can do that in the heart of the system, the key control. All electronics are inside the speaker. So every driver has its own amplifier in the Kii 7s and in the Kii 3s and in the BXTs as well. Bass, mid and high sections have their own DA converters to have the most accurate reproduction of the sound, and they have multiple inputs, digital and analog. If you look at your source here, you can connect an analog source, you can connect digital sources as well, CD drive or your streamer if you want to, or the Kii 7 through wireless. You simply open an app here, and there's your volume setting, your different settings of the speaker, multi-zone playback, here you go. So we basically make the best reproduction of sound connected to that rear wall as close as possible, so your lovely missus at home or partner won't shout, I want it against the wall and blah blah blah, and no, I need it in the room, blah blah blah. No, you can safely put it up against the wall, still have your full-blown stereo image, detailed, accurate, precise, fast, and all the boogie you want, basically, in the music. Do you want the whole shebang in between? You can leave it basically over there if you want to, or you can move it aside, or if you go for the smaller system, you simply use an app and you play Spotify Connect or Tidal Connect. Easy to use, correct reproduction of sound, and cosmetically nicely blended into your living room. That's what it's all about.